Clint Eastwood plans to direct a new movie in '95, shades era of remakes and franchises, do something new or stay at home. In a recent sit-down with Austria-based Republican, Eastwood, who has now turned 95, shared that he is currently in pre-production for his next film. He added that fans don't have to worry about his retirement for a long time. There's no reason why a man can't get better with age, Eastwood said, and I have much more experience today. Sure, there are directors who lose their touch at a certain age, but I'm not one of them. When asked about the current state of film, the unforgiving director said he missed the days where theatres went overbooked with remakes, sequels, and adaptations of existing IP. I long for the good old days when screenwriters wrote movies like Casablanca in a small bungalow on a studio lot. When everyone had a new idea, he said. We live in an era of remakes and franchises. I've shot sequels 3 times, but I haven't been interested in that for a long while. My philosophy is do something new or stay at home. Eastwood went on to say that his upbringing in the old system of Hollywood forced him to constantly evolve as an artist and be vigilant for the next great movie idea. After I was still under contract with a studio, was in the old system, and forced to learn something new every year, Eastwood explained. And that's why I'll work as long as I can, still learn something, or until I'm truly senile. First of all, I think it's well and truly worthy of saying the fact that this guy is like 95 years old, just turned 95 that is, and is still going strong in terms of making movies. That's incredible. Like, it really shows that Clint Eastwood has a really great love and desire for filmmaking, and still has a passion inside him for filmmaking and telling a good story on screen. Like, the dude can easily just retire officially today. He could retire today and live off the land somewhere in the middle of nowhere and be perfectly fine for the rest of his remaining life. He still decides to go balls to the walls and try to make movies as often as he possibly can, whether that be in front of the camera. The last movie I probably saw of Clint Eastwood's was American Sniper, which I believe came out in like 2013, if I'm not mistaken, which starred Bradley Cooper and was nominated for a bunch of Oscars. Great movie, really great movie, great story. And I've also seen a lot of his on-screen work as well, in terms of Dirty Harry franchise, $1 Million Baby, Gran Torino, Unforgiven. You know, a bunch of movies that come to the top of my head in random order. I've probably seen Line of Fire, for example, Escape from Alcatraz, the one with the monkey. I can't remember what it was called, but if you know the movie I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. A thing of particular interest I do want to point out how Hollywood these days and movie theatres rely on sequels, remakes, and existing IP to get butts in seats. He didn't quite say those words, but that's basically what he's trying to say. Yeah, he is right for the most part. You know, these days it's all about big franchises such as but sometimes, you know, you do get a one original movie that actually does manage to get butts in seats and really does perform well in terms of critic reviews and in terms of box office numbers. Ryan Coogler is a good example of that. For anyone who's familiar with his work, he recently just had a movie called Sinners come out in cinemas, which was starring Michael B. Jordan, and it was an original movie that he made. And the film, you know, wasn't for me personally, but I was thrilled to see how well everyone was responding to the movie and how well it did at the box office. And just, you know, man, and just the overall love and support for the movie that it was getting from everyone worldwide. For original movies to exist and do well in terms of box office performance and in terms of critic reviews, unfortunately. But of course, I understand where Clint Eastwood's coming from. He obviously has that old school Hollywood mentality in terms of an actor and in terms of a filmmaker, where he comes from an era where if you had an original idea and it was a great idea, chances are that movie or that idea that you had in your mind was going to do really well and it's going to pay off in the long run. So I'm not throwing shade at Clint Eastwood, not at all. There's a lot of filmmakers that feel the same way that he feels when in terms of Hollywood and a lot of the movies that it puts out in theatres these days. But with that being said, please let me know your feelings down below. What's your favourite Clint Eastwood movie? Where it be? whether he was on screen as an actor or whether he's behind the scenes as a director. So please let me know your feelings down below. Until next time, take care, stay safe, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye for now.